Welcome to the This Week in Astrology video forecast. This is episode 79 for February 2017. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Benjamin Bernstein of astroshaman.com, coming to you from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm an astrologer, shamanic healer, and awakening activator, and it's my pleasure to bring you these astrology forecasts now monthly. Yes, there's been a shift. Those of you who've been following me know I haven't actually put up a short-range forecast since November 1st of last year, 2016. I apologize for that. It's been a very busy time. I did put up my full year forecast, but what I'm doing now, because my time has become so much more restricted, I'm going to do these video forecasts monthly now, and I'm going to do them with a little less detail. I'm going to put the big events in this video forecast. It'll hopefully be a little more concise, a little more focused for those who want to know the big stuff. My podcast will continue to come out twice a month, and it will continue to have the smaller events in them. So the good news for you is that now when I put up a forecast at the beginning of the month, before you only knew half a month's information, now you'll know the entire month's big events. So the forecast will go you further ahead on the video part. This Week in Astrology audio podcast will continue to cover half months and give you more detail. So I think I said that twice, but you get the idea. So let's move on with what's happening in February. February features two eclipses. A Leo lunar eclipse features a rare envelope aspect pattern supporting harmonious revolution. A Pisces solar eclipse accentuates spiritual awakening and inspired creativity and is supported by a harmonious Kite aspect pattern. Learning and communication are powerfully and harmoniously supported by a Mercury-Jupiter-Saturn-Uranus Cradle. We also have Mars adding its fire to 2017's most powerful grand cross, Jupiter turning retrograde, and a tricky Neptune-Pallas conjunction. So that's what we've got going on. What's old as February begins. At the beginning of, now I should admit I'm recording this on February 10th. It took me a while to get to it this month. There was a waxing moon at the start. Today as I record this, we have an eclipse, full moon eclipse that turns that into a waning moon. And key aspect patterns are all variations on a theme. We still have going on the Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto T-square. That's through May 1st. And then we add Vesta to that to create a grand cross. That's through April 20th. I'll give you details on all that as we move in. So now let's move on to our individual days of the forecast. Now as we roll in, I'm going to cover things that are in the past as you're watching this. However, I'm including them because they're still active. Astrology events can go for quite a while beyond the exact dates. So let's start with an event that was exact on February 1st, but will actually be active for until March 6th. So it's still very much relevant. And that is, let me just give you the text here. Pallas Athena is the warrior goddess represented by empowered females such as Wonder Woman, Black Widow, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She can use force when necessary, but prefers strategy to achieve her outcomes. If a win-win can be accomplished, so much the better. If there's a cause that you're feeling inspired to champion, whatever your gender, you'd be wise to call on the Pallas energy within you. But the situation can get tricky with Pallas conjoining Neptune around 11 Pisces. If you're less spiritually awake, Neptune can easily bring confusion, deception, or misguided enthusiasm. The greater your spiritual awareness, the more easily Neptune can flow in a constant stream of creative inspiration and intuitive clarity. So, whether you're one of the multitude rising up against Donald Trump's authoritarian power grabs or striving for some other worthy cause, don't let passion blind you to adopting the most effective strategy. Pallas and Neptune are energetically joined through March 6th, as I said. Until then, you can invoke them together to inspire you with the most effective and harmonious strategy to achieve your desired outcomes. Our next event started on Saturday, February 4th, but it's going through the 17th, so I'm going to include it here. The headline is Harmonious Revolution. A cradle begins with the Sun, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus. There's a lot of ways to capitalize on this. I'm most inspired by the idea of harmonious revolution. The revolutionary energy is brought forth by Uranus and the Aquarian Sun. The harmony is brought forth mostly by the cradle itself, which has 5 harmonious aspects and only 1 hard aspect. The presence of a harmonious but energizing sextile between Jupiter and Saturn, which represent expansion and contraction respectively, further supports comfortable change. Again, as I said, the cradle started on the 4th of February, peaks on February 11th, and ends on the 17th. During these times, you're empowered to reinvent any part of your life with less suffering and drama than you might expect. First and foremost, empower this process by following your intuitive flashes, that's Uranus and Aquarius. Maintain a spirit of hope and optimism, Jupiter. Call in your allies, Jupiter and Libra, and proceed with maximum maturity, responsibility, and determination, that's Saturn. How much breakthrough is possible? How much can you imagine? On Monday, February 6th, Jupiter turned retrograde. That was at 23 Libra. It'll turn direct in about 4 months on June 9th at 13 Libra. For starters, this is a great time to reflect on how satisfied you are with your current approaches to religion, philosophy, and life purpose. Would foreign travel or exposing yourself to the wisdom of other cultures benefit you? Are you enjoying enough celebration, joy, and exuberance in your life? Since this Jupiter retrograde takes place within Libra, reflection on your relationships, creative expression, values, and tastes would also be timely. Now we're up to Friday, February 10th, the day I'm actually recording this. Yay! Lunar eclipse in Leo. The envelope, please. The first eclipse of 2017 occurs today at 7:33 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time at 22 degrees 28 minutes Leo. Like any full moon, it's a good time to take stock of how you're doing in your roles as leader and entertainer. Are you taking an appropriate amount of risk and enjoying playtime with children or your inner child? Are you having enough fun and taking enough time to relax and recreate? The astronomy. The eclipse will be visible from the Americas, Europe, Africa, and most of Asia. It's a penumbral eclipse, the least dramatic kind, so the darkening of the moon may be hard to see. The subtlety of the eclipse is related to the luminary's distance from the lunar nodes. They're over 11 degrees away. Major aspects. I already discussed this eclipse's most important aspects from February 4th in my discussion of that cradle with Sun, Jupiter, Uranus, and Saturn. And of course, that strongly aspects this eclipse, as you can see in the graphic. The main point I highlighted there is the opportunity for harmonious revolution. You're empowered to reinvent any part of your life with less suffering and drama than you might expect. The addition of the moon to the cradle creates a 5-pointed aspect pattern called an envelope, as you can see in the graphic. It looks like a personal mailing envelope, which is upside down in this image. An envelope can also be thought of as a grand trine with 2 kite points. The envelope maintains the flowing vibe of the cradle. The Leo energy added by the moon supports you implementing your harmonious revolution more publicly and with plenty of pizzazz. Saturn is the focal point of the envelope. This invites you to carry out your revolution with persistence and good planning. Saturn's placement in Sagittarius and Saturn's sextile with Jupiter invites you to implement these changes in a spirit of joy and celebration while spreading hope and optimism. Minor aspects. The eclipse moon receives 2 aspects in addition to the members of the envelope. A tight semi-sextile from Vesta supports serving a higher cause, and a tight quincunx from Chiron asks you to make whatever adjustments are needed to support healing or mentoring. This lunar eclipse's Sabian symbol is a bareback rider in a circus displays her dangerous skill. This aligns with the Leo themes of performance and risk. The rider is putting herself in harm's way in order to create beauty. You can imagine her standing on the back of the galloping horse and perhaps even performing acrobatic maneuvers atop her speeding steed. This image resonates with this eclipse's theme of harmonious revolution. Radical change involves risk. It produces visible results and is often carried out in the public eye. And when done in a way that serves the highest good of all, it can create a more beautiful world. How will the eclipse affect you? Eclipse effects last 6 to 12 months. This eclipse will most strongly affect your sensitive natal points between 17 and 28 degrees in the fixed signs. That's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. If you're getting a lot of action there or could just use some help dealing with life's challenges right now, I'm happy to help you with an Astrology Plus session. I'm no longer doing free chart checks. They just took up too much time. But I'm happy to assist you if you like. You can learn more at astroshaman.com about my services. Now, I still have several major February events to tell you about, but first I'd like to tell you how EASE, the Embodied Awakening Support Experience, has helped Catherine. This is what she wrote. EASE has gifted me with the depth of divine consciousness, the guidance to ask, to open the door, to put ego in the passenger seat, and the incredible gift that opens all. Simple, easy, no judgment. Breath awareness truly clears my thoughts, invites spirit, and allows me to accept. My life is so sweet, simple, satisfying in spiritual growth and love. My light twinkles clear and bright, my balance is stable, and I now recognize being earthbound was by choice and essential. EASE helps me continue to grow and sweetens my daily walk on this planet. And that's from Catherine Cole of Asheville, North Carolina. She wrote that on December 31st, 2016. The EASE online recording library, over 70 MP3s and constantly growing, lets you experience the life-transforming power of EASE anytime. And I haven't mentioned this, but basically EASE is a weekly event I do. You can join it by phone or by web, and you can do it live, or as I said, catch the recordings. EASE is supported entirely by donations. Pay as little or as much as you wish, however often you choose. And you can see the graphic there. If you're on if that's a clickable graphic for you, basically that means if you're on a full-size computer, you can go right to it, or you can go to astroshaman.com and go to services. EASE is the third service down. You can learn more about it there if you wish. On Saturday, February 11th, the cradle I mentioned with the Sun, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus peaks here on the 11th, and it will end on the 17th. On Tuesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, a grand cross begins with Mars, Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto. Now, this new grand cross is basically the addition of Mars to the Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto grand cross that runs January 19th to April 20th. I've already written extensively about the Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto T-square, and there are some things I'm linking from here, so if you were to go and look at this post on my website, astroshaman.com, in my forecast, there are links. For example, that's a link to learn more about that T-square with Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto. But here's a brief excerpt from my December 11th interpretation to give you a flavor or reminder of it. The Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto T-square, which lasts until May 1st, is one of the strongest astrological events of 2017. At the most basic level, Jupiter is rekindling the power of the waning Uranus-Pluto square. This amplifies the power of revolutionary transformation. Pluto in Capricorn can take a wrecking ball to old structures that have outlived their usefulness, while supporting new structures whose time has come. Pluto normally takes its time, but Uranus in Aries has no patience. It wants those changes yesterday. On a personal level, the square can fuel the acceleration of your own life-affirming changes in all areas. What does Vesta add to the party? For starters, she's about honing yourself into a finely tuned instrument like an athlete in training. Once you're skillful enough to be helpful to others, the next step is to devote yourself to a higher cause. Ideally, this focus on service to others fills you with tremendous joy and satisfaction. If not, please find a path of service that does. The final way I interpret Vesta is controversial, and you certainly don't have to work with it if it doesn't resonate for you in this way. It's the practice of sex magic, using arousal and orgasm to energize your law of attraction manifestations. Yes, the Vestal virgins were sworn to celibacy, but their pre-patriarchal predecessors in other cultures, also represented by the Vesta archetype, were not. Societies that were less erotophobic and more connected to the earth openly celebrated the power of sexuality to enhance abundance of all kinds. If you're open to it, you can too. And again, here on my written forecast, there's a link there on learning more about Vesta and sex magic. Now, it's unusual to have a grand cross this powerful last so long. This gives you plenty of time to work with whatever flavors of this potent aspect pattern call to you. So that's review. Now we're going to add Mars. Mars conjoins Uranus in Aries to become a temporary member of the Grand Cross February 14th through March 8th. Mars rules Aries, and the planet and sign share the same meanings. So the presence of Mars makes it easier to get the energies of the Grand Cross into gear. If you're already in process, Mars will give you extra fuel to stay on track and keep your enthusiasm high. He also makes it easier to stand in your warrior power and strive for a worthy cause. Mars and Uranus together are famous for their unpredictability and volatility. Your risk-taking should be calculated and conscious. Stay mindful to avoid accidents and don't make impulsive sexual choices you might regret later. However, this is a great time to take immediate action on your intuitive flashes. Mars and Aries can be erotic energies, as can Pluto, so the sex magic theme described above can be empowered. Even if we take Vesta out of the equation for a moment, the hard connections between Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto hold huge sexual potential. Whatever floats your boat, from plain vanilla lovemaking to kink or the ecstatic heights of Tantra, can be fired up by this potent Grand Cross. Also, on Tuesday, February 14th, any wounds you're still holding from traumatic religious experiences can be healed more easily with Jupiter quincunx Chiron. That's Jupiter, 23 Libra, Chiron, 23 Pisces. Your willingness to make conscious adjustments can also support healing in your relationships and creative expression. These opportunities remain through March 23rd. On Saturday, February 18th, a cradle begins with Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus. Learning and communication are powerfully and harmoniously supported by this cradle, again starting on the 18th of February, peaking on the 22nd, ending on the 25th. Spreading ideas that are bold, original, and revolutionary is supported by Mercury's placement in Aquarius and its sextile to Uranus in Aries. If you're political, Jupiter, this is a good time to take a disciplined and structured approach, Saturn in Sagittarius, the sign of politics, to your engagement. In fact, political activism is a prominent theme all year as Jupiter makes hard aspects to Uranus and Pluto. As Thomas Jefferson, American founding father and principal author of the Declaration of Independence, famously said, "All that tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent." Also, on Saturday, February 18th, the Sun enters Pisces at 6:31 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. For the next month, you can enjoy enhanced opportunities for spiritual awakening, dream work, and inspired creativity. But be careful not to overdo Pisces' dark side, substance abuse, escapism, drifting, and playing the victim. On Friday, February 24th, the Grand Cross featuring Mars, Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto that started on the 14th peaks today, again that's the 24th, and ends on March 8th. Exact aspects during the second half of February that are part of this Grand Cross include a Mars-Pluto square on the 22nd, a Mars-Uranus conjunction on the 26th, and a Mars-Jupiter opposition on February 27th. I'll have information on the solar eclipse in February in a moment, but first I want to tell you about SolarFire 9. I offer an unbeatable price on the world's #1 astrology software. SolarFire is the world's leading astrology software for Windows. You can also run it on a Mac running Windows emulation or Windows tablets. SolarFire contains something for everyone. It's designed for both novice and expert astrologers and makes it easy to quickly produce high-quality charts. All the charts you see here on the show are made with SolarFire. For advanced astrologers and professionals, SolarFire has a great variety of high-precision astrological calculations and an exceptional degree of user customization. For novices, SolarFire's innovative point-and-click chart interpretations provide an enjoyable way to learn. Its many easily explored options are an invitation to experiment with new techniques. And no one sells SolarFire for less than AstroShaman. You can click what you're seeing right there on the screen, or just go to astroshaman.com, go to Products, and you'll see SolarFire in the pull-down menu. On Sunday, February 26th, a solar eclipse full of spiritual promise takes place at 9:58 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. That's at 8 degrees, 12 minutes Pisces. Like any Pisces new moon, this eclipse is ideal for new beginnings in the areas of spiritual awakening, expressing your inspired creativity, and dream work. A solar eclipse is like a supercharged new moon with effects lasting 6 to 12 months. This annular eclipse will not be visible in North America. The south node of the moon is 5 degrees from the luminaries. Aspects. The closest and most important aspect to this eclipse is Neptune, which forms a conjunction just over 3 degrees from the Sun and Moon. Since Neptune carries the same meaning as Pisces, its presence doubles down on the life-affirming themes already mentioned: spiritual awakening, creativity, and dream work. This can also amplify the darker meanings of Pisces and Neptune, which I mentioned earlier in this forecast: substance abuse, excessive escapism, aimlessness, and playing the victim. Focusing on the life-affirming themes can give these archetypal energies something better to do. Mercury is also conjunct the luminaries about 7 degrees away. This lets you disengage your logical mind to a greater degree and more easily receive information and creative inspiration intuitively. Your higher self is always willing to send you the most helpful guidance available. If you're not receiving it, it's most likely because you aren't asking, you haven't yet developed enough sensitivity to notice it, or you aren't paying attention. My free Heal and Awaken invocations have helped many hear their inner guidance more clearly and consistently. If the link on your screen isn't active, then go to astroshaman.com. The purple banner you're seeing right there is right there at the top of the homepage sidebar, or if you're on a small screen device, it's down the page a ways. Click it, and the very first post with the blue angel will be describing how to use those. Okay, back to the eclipse. Asteroid goddesses. 3 asteroid goddesses aspect this eclipse. Pallas makes a loose conjunction, helping you to embody more feminine assertiveness and act strategically. Harmonious sextiles from Ceres and Juno open opportunities for prosperity, the healing of old sorrows, and the deepening of committed partnerships. These goddesses also form 2 of 4 corners of the Kite aspect pattern that adds subtly energized flow to this eclipse's vibe, and the graphic shows that kite real clearly. Energizers. This eclipse gets some get-up-and-go energy from a Uranus-Mars conjunction in Aries, which semi-squares the luminaries. Mars and Aries can help you kickstart your new initiatives, while Uranus can help you break free from others' expectations to chart an authentic course. This solar eclipse's Sabian symbol is: the race begins. Intent on outdistancing his rivals, a jockey spurs his horse to great speed. This symbol is not the least bit subtle and does not require much interpretation. Decide what you're going to do and get a move on. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my Benjamin Bernstein YouTube channel to be notified when I post new videos. And if you like this video, please share it. This free video forecast is a partner project with iTunes #1 astrology audio podcast, This Week in Astrology. It's also free. You can get my monthly astrology forecast in writing. You can get my twice-a-month astrology forecast in writing by subscribing to my free email newsletter at astroshaman.com. Once you're there, you can also link to my Facebook page where I post daily forecasts. My personal services include astrology, shamanic healing, and awakening activation. All are equally effective in person or long distance. My guarantee makes my services risk-free. If you don't feel that your experience was helpful, there's no charge. I also offer other great products and services, many of which are free. To learn more, visit astroshaman.com. Thanks again for watching. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.